All right, so we're continuing with the Chapter 6 practice problems. This is Part B, which deals with questions based on market data ratios. So first question, which company is most highly levered? To answer this question, we are going to look at the debt to enterprise value ratio, because this tells us how much debt the company has in relation to enterprise value, which is their total debt plus market value of their equity. So to go solve for this, we're going to go to the ratio analysis. And here we have a ratio analysis, all dealing with market data. We go debt to enterprise value, and we need to go solve for box C. And to solve for this, we're going to need total debt plus total equity market value. All right, so total debt we actually have solved for before. So from our previous 1 through 10 problems, we know that total debt is 867.628. To solve for total debt again, you would just go up to the balance sheet and you would go find their short-term debt and their long-term debt and add those two numbers together to get their total debt. All right, so now we have the total debt, total equity at market value, and that will be told right here in box B, which we do not have. So we need to solve for box B. So to solve for total equity of market value, we are going to need the share price as well as the number of shares. All right, so we'll go find this on the financial statements. Way down here, we should have some market data available to us. Market data, and then right here's what we need, the stock price and the average number of shares. Right here we have the stock price, 118.448. Then looking at the average number of shares, that number is 50. And then to get the market value, we're just going to multiply those numbers together. Right, because there's 50 shares out there and each worth $118. If you were to add all those up together, that would be the market value of the equity of the company. All right, so we found that the market value of equity, 12 trailing months, is 5922.4. So we'll go ahead and put that down here. Okay, and so then to solve for box C, which will be the debt to enterprise value, we are just going to use this equation right here with these numbers and solve for it. And we got 0.12778, or roughly 12.78%, which if we looked at its comparables, debt to enterprise value, it looks like SoundCapture is more highly levered than its comparable company because it's sitting at 12.78%, while its comparable is sitting at 9% leverage. So we're going to say SoundCapture, and because we looked at the debt to enterprise value ratio. Okay, part B, which company delivers the most profit per dollar of market value? To solve for this, we're going to look at return of equity with using the market data. Go find that down here. Return of equity, market value. All right, and we have to solve for box D right here. To solve for box D, we are going to need the net income plus equity market value beginning of period. We'll solve for net income. So looking at the income statement, net income is found right here. It's to be 42.84. All right, and again, equity market value beginning of period. Remember the period that we're looking at is the full past year, 12 trailing months. So beginning of period will be the quarter 5 market value. And that is this number right here. We'll copy that over. And then we'll solve for the return on equity, which will just be net income divided by equity market value. And we get 0.008135, or in other words, 0.8%. 0.8% is less than its comparable company. So we're going to say that the comparable is delivering the most profit per dollar of market value. And we solve this by looking at ROE market value. All right, final question. If a big reason for you to own one of these companies would be to enjoy the dividends it pays to shareholders, which company's shares would you buy? Okay, to answer this question, we are going to look at dividend yield, which is right here. That is the dividends divided by market value of equity beginning of period. So we need to find box F. We are going to need dividends and then equity market value beginning of period. All right, so to find dividends, we are going to look at the financial statements. Cash flow statement, dividends is 8.906. And then equity market value beginning of period. Equity market value is right up here. Beginning of period would be quarter 5. So we're going to copy that number down. And then to solve for box F, we just take dividends divided by equity market value beginning of period, and we get roughly 0.17%. To answer this question, we are going to compare SoundCapture's dividend yield to its comparable's dividend yield. And so SoundCapture is 17%, its comparable is 0.25%. So if we're buying the company just for the dividend, we are going to buy the comparable company because it gives us a greater dividend yield. So we're going to say comparable because with the dividend yield ratio.